Test, test, test. Can you hear me? Test, test, test.
Test, test,
Yep,
test.
sound good.
Cool.
All right, cool. That works.
Got one of these ones, a little bit closer, and a pop filter, so a little less air can flow. Just keep the mic close to your mouth.
Like that?
Oh, just rotate it so it's in. I'll listen to you see if I can.
Okay.
Just try to point closer.
Keeps dropping.
Oh, it's just one.
Alright.
Yeah, I think this one you have to actually let go.
Test, test, test. Can you hear me? Test, test, test.
Test.
Yep, I can hear you pretty well.
All right.
Move this guy. There we go. All right. We are going to get a co-commentator for you. Who would you like?
Saboom.
Saboom? Oh, man. You guys. What a cute little couple you guys got.
Yeah.
I'll get him back up here for you, man. Give me a sec.
Well, just get the co-commentator stuff set up. Oh, you're helping that stuff set. That's totally fair.
I think I'm hencher, man. Just my opinion. ESG is pretty hench, though. Whatever that means. Alright, I'm just waiting for Saboom. I'm waiting for Saboom.
Okay.
Nerf was too scared to come. Didn't want to be exposed to such superior gameplay. It's incredible. I save time on Nerf's run in every single load. Takes real skill. His load skill is just painfully unoptimized. I am in the zone, yeah. It's gonna be an experience. Hi, Becky. I won't, no. Get a link. Actually, I linked that to somebody. Not the video itself, but the text. Recently, within the last week, I think. I don't have it memorized, though. Plus, Billy and Bobby are necessary in this category, so I can't tell them to fuck off. Even though I think Bobby is necessary 90% anyway. But he can fuck off. Hey, Coldstone. Yeah, here is attention and validation. Shout out to Coldstone. Thanks for the host button. We're just waiting on Saboom right now. Somebody from the American Diabetes Association came by, so he's talking to her, I think. Which, by the way, that is the cause for this marathon, so donate money. And if you don't donate money, donate hosts so that other people donate money, I guess. Whatever works. Shirtless incentive. It's gonna have to be next year. An incentive. I don't know if I'm gonna do incentives. Actually, I flashed on that one. I think it was there was that one guy from the I Would Really Prefer If You Be Quiet. Thanks for the host stump, where he like did jumping jacks or something. And I was thinking about that on the way to Arizona because it's a long drive. I can think about a lot of things. And I was like, I'm not gonna do anything that makes me look like a fool. So, except play 100 egg badly in some sections. Thanks, Rex. World record proxy. I can do that. I can do that. Yeah, I think it was Chibi Venom. If I remember. Actually, I don't know if I can do that. It depends on my life count. I might be doing Bentley's Outpost in Zombie. In which case, I don't think that's possible. We'll see. If my life count allows me to death abuse in Evening Lake, then I'll death abuse there maybe. But I'll have to make a decision off the cuff. Yeah. That's fair, Matt. Rex is a good guy though. You need to give him a chance. I have seen that video, pal. It's a good video. Thanks, Mohaf, for the host. Stepping on the court a little bit.
Oh, right.
It's just over the foot.
Yeah. There we go. Okay. Perfecto, baby.
Thanks for the host, Becky.
Yes. Awesome. So pretty much, do you want to start it from movement or new game?
Movement would be fine, yeah.
Okay. So whenever you're ready, I reckon.
Is everyone, you ready?
We good?
All right, I'll start it from movement, but there's a cutscene that I can just say beforehand, so.
He'll let you know.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, here we are.
Yeah, so this is 100 egg. Basically, there's a requirement to get into the final boss of 100 eggs. There's a door that needs to be opened. There's a category that bypasses that door. It's like a better category in general. This is essentially like a miscellaneous category that has been imbued with relevance because it was once relevant. Start. Oops. Okay.
Timer
so
start.
This is starting
yo.
off pretty well.
There we go.
So yeah, we're just oops. We're collecting 100 eggs. All the fast ones or most of the fast ones. And admittedly, I'm a little bit underprepared. Haven't been able to play much this week, but practiced yesterday, and it didn't go that poorly. So hopefully this won't go that poorly.
This is going to be a treat for me because I have not really seen much in the way of 100 egg of present era. This was one of the categories that I have put a lot of time into, but it was several years back.
That's not good.
So, Jeremy right now is going for a proxy attempt off of the enemy. That one's considered a squeeze proxy, right?
No, it's a dead body.
Or dead body proxy, that's right, yeah.
Yeah. So essentially for dead body proxies, there are certain objects that allow Spyro to charge through them, but not to glide through them. And there's a mechanic in the game where if you shouldn't have charged jump, that should be a glide off. But anyway, if you charge jump and you're holding X and square and then you press X, then you get a little stutter, and that stutter is a one-frame glide. And so if you get into one of those objects while charging, if you get into one of those objects while charging, and then time the 1-frame glide properly. Wow, this went pretty horribly. Then you can get a lot of height from it. Basically, you can conserve the momentum from getting pushed out of the game, or out of the hitbox. I'm just gonna go for this. Man, no luck on
These
this.
enemies are not.
I say luck, it's skill based. So, but if you want to believe that it's luck, then that's also fine. I don't mind being absolved of blame on that.
Yeah, no, those enemies just weren't having it.
So do you mind explaining swim and air a little bit while I go for this?
Absolutely. So swim and air in this game, basically anytime you swim in Spyro 2 and 3, you enter the state of swimming, and the state of swimming doesn't have to exist within a body of water. There's no like coding in the game that really specifies anything like that. It's more of just the state. Oh baby, we got a first try. That's super nice.
That's how it is.
So Jeremy just did it in a very unconventional way to get swim and air. The easiest way to do it in this game is it's quite simple to trigger in that there's many different ways, and it's not like a super precise thing with the exception of what he just did. But basically it's like underneath
Thanks again, Spyro.
Jeremy, you can hop in anytime, dude. I feel like I'm trying to explain Spyro 3. I might have some difficulty here.
Yeah, basically just consider bodies of water as triggers and containers. And generally speaking, the container is going to be able to keep you in. It's going to make you surface instead of continuing the swim state when you get to the surface of the water, the intended surface of the water. But if you can get that trigger and not be contained, then you can just carry that swim wherever you want it to be until you get into water that surfaces you in some way. This route's kind of weird. Grant timed it a few years ago. It's really counterintuitive in my opinion. I mean, when you think about it, you're like, oh, I guess that could be faster, but I wasn't thinking about reordering these eggs. Definitely, I think you've mentioned something similar.
Yeah, it does seem quite odd when you just think about it. It's like, no, like that wouldn't be faster.
Yeah, so that wasn't a missed egg, and it is a fast egg that I'm going to backtrack for as long as I don't autopilot into any %.
Yeah, so basically what we're getting at here is Jeremy just skipped the second hut. He just completely kept going past it, and now we're at the third one. And it's because, as you may have noticed with the first one, he had to wait for the goat to get there. Same case with the second one. You actually have to wait quite a considerable amount of time for him to get to his home. And then he's waiting here for you to break the rock. And then it just turns out that doing the level this way, in fact, is quicker. Do you know offhand like what the difference is? Like a second or two?
I think it's about a second. I think Grant said that it's basically even if you get bad RNG on the Rhinoc on the right side.
Ah, right, yes.
Which is worth mentioning. Saboom mentioned that in his bad movement. In Spyro 1, there's not a lot of RNG. In this game, a lot of the enemies have some amount of RNG attached to them, and there's quite a bit more, unfortunately. Obviously, in a speed game, we prefer things to be consistently acting consistently. But anyway. I didn't even need to flop.
So Jeremy looks like he's about to fly to his death, but in fact he's entering a sub-level. Now a lot of the trigger zones for the sub-levels are quite extensive, and they're just poorly programmed in the sense that, you know, they bleed out like behind a wall, on top of in some cases probably beneath. There's just like this big blob of programming that enters into a sub-level that doesn't coincide very well with the texture of the portal-looking like sub-level door type.
And with that mentioned, I guess we should also mention that the reason I was able to get into Sheila without paying 300 gems and having that cutscene is because, like in contrast to area portals, which are not stored, they're blocked. Or I suppose you could say they're stored where they're supposed to be and blocked. Level portals, when they're not unlocked, they're stored directly beneath where they would be if they were unlocked, and they're still fully active. So by touching them, you can just go into the level without having any of the requirements. See that used a lot in 90%. But for this category, we only use it for the gem requirements, I think. Yeah.
Well, we don't like gas these, so kill them all. Boom, baby.
So if you have good movement in this challenge, this thief kind of just sets up for you. Didn't get the early flame, but not a bad backup, I guess.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to jump before I pause. You want to explain why?
Yeah, shout outs to me
Yeah.
for finding this back in like 2012. So Jeremy just jumped before he actually paused and exited that sub-level. That's because it's the one sub-level that has a entry like where you're going up into it. And so because of the fact that when you exit, you'll be dropping down, if you actually jump before you pause, like you want to jump and then pause as quickly as you can, because Spyro's upward momentum that was caused by the jump is actually going to lead into the level itself when you return into it. So you're like pushing against how you'd normally be falling with your upward momentum, and it puts you in a state of like dropping a little bit more slowly with that sort of push of force of up and down, to where you can actually start a glide in time to be able to turn and make it to where he made it. Otherwise that is completely not possible.
So I'm going to do an unorthodox route right here that I've never actually done in run before. I don't think what I'm doing is faster in the form that I'm going to do it. I think that it has potential as a concept, and I guess now's a good time to try it.
Yeah, why not? I like it. I've never seen this before.
So I'm reordering because I'm going to do zombie at the end of Molten Crater. Oh, yeah, I have to talk to this guy. I was worried for a second, like, do I not have 10x?
I was like,
to do the 80% entry? So I'm going to do a Death Abuse. These Death Abuses, there are going to be a lot of them throughout the run, peppered throughout. And they all save time individually, and they work toward a greater time save in Evening Lake, where I do a game over abuse at the end. So I really want to not mess this up. So that's not great. But I'll have to just go for it again. I jumped a little bit too far to the left. A lot of these egg death abuses, like, they're not difficult, but they're annoying to practice on console. And so I'm less consistent at them than I should be. There you go. That was almost a miss anyway.
Yeah, I was going to say, oh
Yeah.
no, it looks like the same thing's about to happen. But we got it.
So then that is an animation proxy. It's very similar to dead body proxy, but instead of being pushed from the inside of an object, you're being pushed from the outside of an object by its animation. But at least in terms of like the preservation of the velocity, it's similar.
Shoutouts to Grant and Tuval for that?
Yeah, yeah, Vor Proxy was Grant too.
Proper credit, yeah.
Hey, there goes another.
Kind of a collaboration.
So I got one quick thief. I thought I had the yellow one. It didn't look that bad to me. Just missed it a little bit.
Yeah, again, the category is 100 eggs. We collect 100 of the fastest of the, let's say, 149 that are available. And
Hello, Spyro.
already at 20. Just amazes me how quick speed runs really are. How quickly we gather all the collectibles and stuff. That was another instance of entering a sub-level. It doesn't matter that bird is unavailable. All that means is there's a solid wall blocking the entry point. But again, the sub-levels are programmed in a way that Alex.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to do. There is a task jump that is very difficult. I'm not gonna do it because if I missed it, then the run would be over. I have to wrap it up early. But
Yeah, straight up. Huh? Come back.
So I'm just gonna do an intermediate jump right here to make this safe. And so what I did was I took damage. I'm using a lot of hand gestures more than normal. I took damage. So if you consider it Sparks' color to be a numerical value, you could say that gold Sparks is 3, blue Sparks is 2, green Sparks is 1, and no Sparks is 0. And then there's a moment, there's like a frame, where you take damage, but the game has not killed you yet, and Sparks' value is set to -1, and then the game interprets it. So if you pause on that frame, you get into this state called zombie state that has trouble transitioning between like swimming state and ground state, for example. There are problems that you can encounter. This is one of them, but there's a workaround where you're supposed to receive a teleport at the end of this challenge. So once I finish, you'll see that I won't teleport immediately as is normal. But I can just turn around and then fail the challenge. and then I teleport back as if I failed, and then I can talk to this guy, and he recognizes that I've passed the end of the challenge, so he gives me the egg anyway.
Yes.
So I was considering, because there's a problem with being on 0 sparks in this level because of Bluto, I was considering just putting in cat hockey for this, but I think just because I already lost a life especially, I'm just going to grab the skill point right there, so that I'm not too low on lives, and just do Bluto.
Now, do you purposefully, because I noticed a lot of the time you end up charging when you enter or when you exit the wind tunnel, is that to get that little push of momentum?
That is, yeah. In that case, though, when I was trying to get the fodder, it was not advantageous. I should have not done it, but usually it's faster to do so.
It's basically the same concept we were talking about with the Cloud Spire's jump, in any case. So Blue to the Rhino. I remember back in like 2013 or something when Surreal posed doing this in the route, and we all thought he was crazy. And now it's certainly one of the.
I'm surprised that hit. That was so far right.
Yeah.
It's an enormous hitbox. Oh, I missed one. So I'm gonna. Oh, I'm surprised I preserved green with that, considering I missed a shot. Sometimes when he's descending into the water, you miss a shot that normally you would want to hit. Okay, I need to remember to get the level after the egg after Sheila. It's one that I'm not used to getting after Sheila.
Oh, right, okay. Oh,
Glad I kept that glide, yeah.
The reflexes.
Oh, hi, Spyro.
So this egg is generally in the route. It's in. I should have kicked. And it's in everyone's route except for Nerf's and mine, I think, right now. Maybe Spore's transitioning. But it's slow, so we replace it later on. There you go.
Oh, yeah. So which kind of proxy is that one, actually?
Huh?
Well, the seashell or the conch dudes. Like, what type of proxy does
It's
that
a
one?
dead body. It's just dead body. You would think that the enemy needs to be dead. In this case, it's like a birth body.
Ah, yeah, okay.
It's the same as a dead body proxy.
Right.
Let's head on.
All right, so Buzz is a little more difficult in this category. Okay.
Whoa! All right.
He's a little more difficult in this category because we don't have as lenient of a sparks value. So I just need to be a little bit careful.
Listen,
Do you want to explain Buzz?
Yes.
Okay.
So Buzz is a fight in which we do a lot of manipulating. I remember I actually have childhood memories of one time we had a babysitter and we had the babysitter like playing through this game. Oh, sorry.
That's fine.
We had a babysitter. Yeah, okay, good now. Playing through this game, and I remember she spent like 30 minutes on this fight, and we were all just like laughing and having a good time. But anyways, it goes very, very quickly. You're able to keep him from rolling around if you stand next to the edge, because he gets so close that he just stops doing his roll around attack he'd otherwise be doing. He also ends up bringing up like firewalls and stuff, and he has some fire powers that you can use to slow down the fight as well, but you can prevent him from doing those by changing the camera view, and in some cases not even caring about the camera. Is that a thing? Is that the final hit where
Final
it
2
just
hits.
doesn't hit
It's
you?
just the middle hits that require the camera.
Ah, I see.
It's kind of strange that you would get like less or easier to manipulate as you go on.
Yeah.
Just the
isn't that
middle 2
weird?
hits.
For sure. Oh shit! We got the Tucson boys in the house. Anyway.
All right, so we're through Sunrise. Hopefully with all the eggs. I mean, my autopilot sometimes is just with any percent, so if I'm not focusing, then I mean, we'll see. I think I have all of them.
28 sounds right to me.
Yeah.
All the rounds. I don't know.
Okay, Dragon.
Seems about right.
So I'm gonna grab this egg down here and then do bridge swim. The cycle's a lot different because the water kind of goes up and down a little bit, and so the cycle is different in 100 egg. So I don't aim for. That's what I aim for in 100 egg. That flop. And then we're just gonna get half the pot's egg. And then get this one. And then go back into the super fly, or not the super fly, the super flame power up to grab these last 2. And then I'm gonna try to hit the target here.
Which, by the way, lost no time. Although it looks like
I might have gotten it. It was kind of weird. If I got it, then it lost no time. But I did it during the egg cutscene.
So even though Jeremy pauses a moment there, the egg cutscene, meaning it takes a little while before you're even able to collect the egg that pops out. I thought, though, that it doesn't give a view of the thing in that case. Like, if you hit it?
I'm not sure if I hit it. It's I'm 50-50 on it. Do you want to give this bet?
Yeah, all right.
I'm gonna say I hit it.
Tiebreaker. I'm gonna say you did not hit it.
All right. So there are some necessary checkpoints in this level. All the escort missions have checkpoints you have to fulfill. Necessary checkpoints and unnecessary ones. The necessary ones are pretty obvious. Like you have to break doors if they're in front of you to escort Gabrielle through the level. Some unnecessary ones are enemy-based, and they just speed it up a little bit. It's actually a really intricate level in terms of checkpoints. And there's an extra checkpoint that I go for in this room in any percent that I don't go for in 100 egg because there's an extra enemy attached to it when you're on a more difficult setting. In 100 egg, you've collected eggs that are a little bit harder rated. Alright. So I'm actually going to grab Sparks here. Just because I need to take damage in Spooky. I was trying to get back to the bird because you save, I think it's like 16 frames or something. About a fourth of a second. By standing in front of a teleport, anticipating that it's going to happen.
The mitigation, right?
Yeah.
I didn't even think how you could do it in that case.
Shout out to Dactyli for teaching me how to do this. I was notoriously bad at it for a long time, but it's fixed. Thank you, Dact.
So of course, as we continue on, it shows more and more the changes that have really occurred over the years, as so many of these levels are just really unfamiliar to me in the way that they're routed.
So that's kind of unfortunate. I wanted to do the proxy route and can't, but it's fine, I guess.
Is that a luck thing when
an
enemy kills the croc? Yeah.
It's not luck, no. It's based on when you get to it. If you get to it quickly, then usually it's going to die. So if you have bad movement, sometimes it doesn't.
You are
so there was an interesting thing that I'll still talk about. That so you used to go for a strat that proxied from some of the crocodiles right there, but they were on the bridge and kind of awkward. If in the proxy route you go to the right of the tree instead of to the left of it, then it manipulates the enemies to just set up for you. Saves a couple of seconds. I think I got all the eggs. So just interesting enemy manipulation. There's a similar route in terms of just having enemy manipulation in Sunny Villa that is pretty terrible, and I wouldn't recommend anyone go for it.
I didn't even know there was that like option available.
All right. Let's see what happens to the bug.
Yes.
I'm pretty pessimistic about this next trick usually, just because there's a significant random factor, and also it's not the easiest proxy. This looks good though.
Oh my goodness. Nice. That deserves a little round of applause right there on its own. I like that. So Jeremy just got a big reroute of the level basically, which saves, how much does it save in 100 egg?
I think it saves like 7 or 8 seconds.
7 or 8 seconds.
Yeah, so I collected that egg. That egg is the thief egg. The thief doesn't spawn until after you've talked to Sing Sing, the panda. And when it is unspawned or despawned, then the egg spawns underneath that bridge where the thief would normally spawn. And it's fully active. It's actually an anomaly in terms of stored eggs. Most stored eggs are not fully active when they're stored. For example, in Midday Gardens, if you have the super flame power up, then the thief will despawn. And when it's despawned, like you can find the egg with like some sort of like coordinate tracking tool. You can find the egg, but it's fully inactive. You can't collect it, unfortunately. And that's true with a lot of the stored eggs in the game. So it's very fortunate that this one happened to be different.
That's just so awesome. You nailed that level. I haven't been able to, like, I haven't had the treat of seeing the level done like that in a long, long time. Yeah. I think I remember I made a video for that route or something involving the bug, but I don't think I ever got it in a single run. Oh, nice. Okay. So I forget who bet on what, but I think you just won. Okay.
Need another one. I need a third best run now. But this route, normally it's pretty vanilla, but I'm going to go for a death abuse route here. that hopefully I get. I'm going to grab this Zoe right here. This was Dr. Ansom's improvement on a route that had been... Oh, okay. never mind. I landed in the wrong spot. So that is going to be a problem for lives, but it should still be fine. But essentially, what I would have done if I had gotten the Death Abuse on that egg is I would have spawned back at the beginning of the level and then gone for the any % skip, the bridge jump, and it saves a few seconds. And like I said, it contributes to losing lives, which I want to lose. But that's fine. I'll make up for it by failing ICP jump. It's a marathon tradition.
Yeah.
Should I go for the wall skip?
I would say yes.
All right.
But
I'll trust you.
okay. Is that like I said, man? Every time I watch you go for that, like I recall seeing you fail it very few, if ever, like very few times you failed it.
All right, so I'm gonna go for a strat that is mostly swag. It saves 1.5 seconds, but it's almost certainly not worth it. If I miss it, it loses 10 in life. But
Ridiculously hard. I don't think I've gotten this jump once in my life, to be honest. Oh my god, let's go.
should be fine. Yeah.
No, that's
Cool.
Oh, dude, that was so incredible. Yeah, let's get some hype, everybody.
And then if you collect these thieves out of order, then the yellow thief can be spawned back to its initial position if you just touch the camera button, which is really convenient because the red thief's really easy to hit because it's just standing there.
Dude, this is like gold pace right now.
Yeah, it is. My goal doesn't have the wall skip, so it's a little sloppy in the movement, but 1.5 seconds is hard to lose to slop usually.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, by the way.
I think I'm going to grab this life. I'm not really sure where my life count is or where it's supposed to be right now, but in a marathon I'm just going to grab some extra, and I'll probably still do the game over even if I have to die a couple times on purpose. Oh, I hovered early. I think I still could have made that. So I'm going to do a cannon jump here, and to raise it all the way, and then do a neutral jump into a charge jump.
Oh, baby.
And then a wall glide flop right here. Oh, barely made
Nice.
that. Oh, come on. Okay. Not terrible. ICP can be difficult.
A lot of gymnastics craziness at the end of that level.
All right, so what's worth mentioning is, like I said, if you've seen any % runs, this boss is going to appear a lot differently. I mean, it's going to be a much different fight. Do you want to take it?
Yeah, so any % of this game, as Jeremy has alluded to a couple times now, there's kind of a different mode or like a different setting that the game can give you in certain parts of the game, and this boss is a big indicator of those different modes. Now, because he's in 100 egg and he's played the game out without like significant dying and such, the mode that this is on right now is like the standard mode, whereas in any % you actually get what we call easy mode because and maybe Jeremy knows better than I do, but I think it's just because the game is just kind of confused in a sense. It's like it doesn't even know how we're there with so few eggs, and it just ends up triggering easy mode.
Yeah.
The main difference is that see the phases of this fight, as you can tell, he had to charge rocks into Spike, and then Sergeant Bird helps us by dropping these like power-ups for us. And in 100 egg and 117, basically any other category than any %, you're going to need 3 hits per phase for this fight, whereas in any % you only need 2, so it's a substantial difference. Perfect. Yeah, truthfully, very, very difficult fight. Most people who are just familiar with the game and maybe played it once or twice casually will always say that Spike is very, very difficult. And really, I mean, even the thing is, like with speedrunning, a lot of the movement that you're doing, you try to prioritize getting to the weapons and not really caring about what Spike is doing. So it's just easy to end up getting hit a couple times, and even speedrunners certainly are no stranger to dying on that fight.
So in this next level, I'm going to, well, first of all, I'm going to reorder because I'm going to commit to the death abuse route right now, the game over abuse.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm doing Lost first. And there's death abuse in this route as well. Basically, if we collect a Zoe at the end, a save point, and then die on purpose, then Crazy Ed will spawn at the end instead of us having to escort him through, which saves, I think, 4 to 6 seconds is the estimate. So usually I take damage from this guy, but since I'm on 0 sparks, I'm not going to. And then
Nice.
just an enemy boost off that guy.
Technically speaking, what happens there is pretty unusual to anything else in the game, really, huh?
Mm-hmm.
It's like kind of a collision conflict where like Spyro is just suddenly in the way of something that pops up, so it just kind of nudges you. Dude, you know what's really exciting to me? I actually don't know where the game over is.
Oh, yeah?
In the route. Yeah, so I'm just excited to see it. I've said it before, I'll say it again. This category is much different than what I knew it as. Wow.
Okay, so
Solid zombies.
I think that what would be better right now would be to take the death abuse as normal, but like just in terms of this run. But I want to show off the no death abuse version of this because it's cooler. So I'll have to die a few times where the game over is, but I'm not going to death abuse here as we normally would after this egg. Just going to keep zombie for a while. There are a couple of problems that we encounter, and the main one I'll mention as I get there, and then I'll mention one of the ones that we have to route around to prevent if we're low on lives. Oh yeah, that egg's there.
Then you get like stored giant things used for cutscenes.
I want to explain
like
this one too. This is another shout out to Saboom.
Yeah.
I'm doing it really badly though. There you
I
go.
actually found out that if you free Stubby from underneath there, the game will actually keep you out of bounds. However, if you skip his cutscene, it'll pop you back in. So it's the one egg that we actually watch. And what did he just do? He, like scratched his ear like a dog or something?
Yeah. So in this level, Zombie doesn't handle teleports well, whether they're your teleport or the NPC's teleport. So Bartholomew does not teleport properly in this level, which is problematic. But you can force and you can manually teleport Bartholomew by touching the camera button. And he teleports on the same spot every time, pivoted in the direction that you're facing generally. Or not that you're facing, that you are. Like he tries to look toward you. So I'm going to hold off on touching the camera for a little bit, and then touch it right here to get him over. And then I can still get the gong.
So funny.
And we're through that. Oh, he's actually speeding me up a little bit.
Yeah.
So hopefully the cycle's fine for this. I haven't practiced the cycle with this, so a little bit slow. It's fine. Have to wait out this guy. And then in going for this, I think unfortunately I robbed myself of an opportunity to do world record proxy.
Oh.
I think. Well, no, I think I'm fine. No, I can't do it. Okay. I don't know what I was thinking. I can do it. I'll do it. Oh. There you go.
Boom, baby.
So that's for Becky.
That is a trick that was found, and it's completely it doesn't help the speed run, let's say, to put it bluntly.
Yeah, it loses about 5 or 6 seconds actually.
But it has been it has the endearing nickname of World Record Proxy, as you know, if you're going for world record, you should obviously do something that like wastes 6 seconds or something.
Yeah. Okay, so one of the problems is zombie, and the reason why, if you remember, going into Seashell Shore, I had to have a very, I mean, it wasn't a very efficient route. I had to take a detour jump. That was because of this. You're about to see after this loading screen. And it would have happened in Seashell, and there wouldn't have been a way out of it in Seashell.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
So no water.
Water's a lie.
Oh, I almost had that.
So just to reiterate, when Jeremy left Lost Fleet a while back now, he got the zombie state, and he still has it.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to clear it on a death abuse. That I'm like I said, I'm really bad at the death abuses in this run right now. So hopefully I clear it on the death abuse. Oh, that's not quite good enough. Trying to think of a backup route. I think I have one in mind. Hopefully this challenge works in zombie. Actually, I don't know. We'll see. I'm gonna say 38. It's not very good, but
I'm gonna say 41.
I have a lot of faith in me.
I know. If it were me, I'd be going with like 25 or something. I've just gotten worse and worse at this every time. So when the Yeti's blocking and our punch still hits him, is that what makes it happen? It does like double damage or something?
Yeah, the game recognizes that he's... Damn, this is bad. Come on, come on. Lower your mitts. Oh my god. I am gonna get 25.
No, what did I say, 25?
Alright. It's pretty bad. But, hold on, I need to go for this proxy really quickly. But when the Yeti is blocking and the game recognizes that he's taken a hit, then, I need to do this carefully because I don't think I can pause that. Okay.
Oh yeah, that might have been trouble. Oh, I see what the idea was. Ooh, there we go. That one's a little more helpful.
Alright, so it's supposed to proxy up there initially. Hopefully I get this death abuse because otherwise this is a really inefficient frozen altars. The death abuse will help out, but if I miss it then I'm not in good shape. Alright, cool.
Nice. Okay.
So I'll spawn back to the Jasper egg that I had initially wanted to go to first, and then oh yeah. Don't want to get caught by the snowman. Oh no, I'm fine now. I'm not in zombie anymore.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah.
Thanks
Okay.
for helping out.
Well, rough frozen, but that's fine.
It was entertaining.
Yeah, there's a really strange route that if you exit frozen in zombie, which can happen sometimes if you're kind of just screwed for life. So I have many lives extra right now, so it's fine. But if you exit frozen in zombie, then you have to do a really strange backward route in Charm Bridge. Because the challenge, the mushroom challenge soft locks. If you are, oh, I wasn't supposed to get that then. It's supposed to be after Charmed, but that's fine. It's only like 1 second difference.
That must be new. I remember getting them right there.
Yeah, with the game over abuse route, it's different.
Oh,
Because we're going to fireworks after Charmed.
Oh.
Okay.
I can't even remember. I just don't remember anything about this category.
Spyro.
2 lives. Yeah, I'm pretty significantly over life. I might actually go for Agent Spyro to try to drop a life. That'll be... okay.
Oh.
Oh, I got a permaflop. Okay, that's fine.
That's fine.
There we go.
Snap.
That's good. That permaflop can kill you if you do it in the wrong spot.
Right.
Thought I was dead. Small optimization that's a change is that after this egg, normally people go for a second dead body proxy, but I actually time the Sprotoman to be slightly faster, by about a ½ second if you get hoverless. So instead of doing that, I'm just going to go over here.
Oh, really? Okay. Interesting.
Not hoverless, so then it goes about even. Not slow.
Yeah, I remember trying to do that wall glide without
Yeah,
advancements
Sprotoman
of
was a
Sprotoman.
godsend for a lot of those wall glides. I know the bamboo one especially for me.
Yeah, oh my god, dude.
Oh, come on.
do anything. You can have a couple if you like.
It's nice when a trick is found and then later on it is like facilitated, like an easier way is sort of found. There's some tool to make it a little bit easier.
So we're skipping some sections of this puzzle by doing boosted jumps off the mushrooms, and essentially what they are is you charge down into the mushroom, and then at a certain point you release charge but still hold X, and it gives you like more jump height than you should be getting from the mushrooms. So you can do a couple skips with it. This is the bigger skip. Oh, I thought
Oh,
it was
snap. No, it looked good on that.
that was worse in my opinion.
Yeah, that's kind of a misleading edge there, I feel.
Yeah. All right, so I have plenty of life, so I'm just going to go for the yellow proxy here. Not a big problem. Actually, I wouldn't mind at all if I missed it and died.
Right. It's a win-win. Either way, it could be like, I meant to do that.
Yeah. There you go.
Nice, nice, nice.
I'm going to go for that too. That saves a little bit of time.
What? I've never even seen that. I mean, I must have supposed that that would be possible. But
Yeah,
I've
it
never
saves
seen
a
it
little
go.
bit more time in any percent because you're zombied, so you don't get the teleport properly.
Yeah.
But in this category, I think it still saves maybe 1/4 of a second.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah, it's something. And in any percent, it saves like a second.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Okay, so I would normally get the whale there. 2 lives. I want to be on 0. I'm going to Death Abuse over Firefly once if I miss it, and then I'm going to go for Agent Spyro. That'll be my solution to drop lives.
Right. Okay. I was wondering what you meant by that, but yeah, that involves the Death Abuse.
Yeah.
Perfect. Oh my god, dude, you've been on point with a lot of these proxies.
Alright, so I'm going to do...
That's great.
I'll try Agent Spyro, I guess. I need to drop lives. Otherwise, I can just have a couple random Death Abuses. I can even remember the buttons. I think it's just like hold, charge, jump, and mash start, right? I think that's what it is.
I have no idea. I don't think I've ever done Agent Spyro in my entire life, actually, to be honest with you. Nice. All right, we in there, man. That is awesome. I'm just going to be honest, I doubted that you would get it. Like, I know it's, I know there's like an easier way with the controller. Like,
No, it's
but
easier
it's-
only on PS2.
right, I was going to say it's
Yeah.
not possible on PSTV, so I was nervous, let's just put it out. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I'll get this.
Alright, so you can get away from the text, and then if you Death Abuse, you could just use Spyro. This challenge is very trivial at that point. It's a little bit slower, but in this case, I want to take a Death Abuse. So, since Agent Spyro involves a Death Abuse, I think it's actually going to work out to be faster in this case. Especially considering that Agent 9 strafe pumping and zigzagging, whatever you want to refer to it as, is not my strong suit in this category. It's my weakest point, actually.
Yeah, there's just a huge difference here between being Agent 9 and Spyro, because Spyro's in a constant state of, like, if an enemy touches you, it dies because he's charging, whereas Agent 9 is constantly vulnerable. You need to have his shots that aren't, like, the easiest to aim at all times, like, connect with each enemy to sort of get them out of your way.
Alright, so now I want a damage boost here. It's actually significantly easier on PAL. It's almost free on PAL, I want to say. I don't usually call things free, but it's very easy on PAL. It's harder on NTSC. That's a correct stop, at least.
Oh, and super nice.
Cool. So yeah, it skips having to go through all the rooms. I don't know how much it saves, but some. It saves some time. And then I'm going to take some damage here just to make this Death Abuse more efficient. And then I'm going to have to die twice, just because I'm over-lifed by 1. So I'm going to die again here to get the game over. So intentional game over.
Don't watch Spyro.
And now we're back to the rocket, so we can move on.
Ah, yeah, okay.
It saves about 3 to 4 seconds, depending on your other routing. And then, like I said, each individual Death Abuse does save time, too. Just pretty interesting. I feel like it makes the entire run more captivating, at least as a runner, probably as a watcher, too.
Super cool.
This fight sucks.
Yeah, it does.
Take it.
Yeah, so this fight is pretty much all luck-based. Bentley's either going to give us green or red ammunition. So we wanted the red. The green is nowhere near as good. It's, you know, it homes in, oh, big deal, but it does the same amount of damage, and you only get 1 rocket, whereas this you get 50 ammunition. That's a big difference. You can use a single red rocket you could obtain a single one, which again uses 50 ammunition, and do the entire fight with it. Whereas if, what is it, like 8 total hits or something that Scorch takes?
How do all those
Oh
work?
my
That's
god,
ridiculous.
that was insane.
I can deal with like 2 or 3 of them going through, but I shot like 6 of them through. Alright, come on.
So again, it's like you would need 8 total green rockets or whatever to kill him with. I mean, it's silly how imbalanced it is. And then in addition to that, Scorch does different things. He'll either spawn enemies, he'll do fireball shots. You basically want red rocket right away and as many of the fireballs as you can get. He can commit to doing only those. So the perfect fight is red, and then all he does is fireballs.
Yeah. So if you've noticed, there are a lot of branching routes. Like I go for a proxy, and if I miss it, I go into a backup route. So in Crystal, there are actually 3 routes. And in a lot of levels I haven't mentioned, there are actually 3 routes, maybe 4 routes sometimes. But basically, there's a route that I can do without a proxy, and that's probably what I'm going to end up having to do. But if I get a proxy, I can do an old beaver route that saves about 5 seconds, and if I get a high proxy, I can do a new beaver route that saves about another 3 seconds on top of that. So I'll try for it, see if I can get it. Beaver's kind of weird, though. It's a very unique proxy in terms of method. It is dead body, but just the setup is just strange. I'm going to go for it again. I could have saved myself there, but I just... There you go.
Interesting.
So that gives me the old route. This saves 5 seconds. Obviously not with the death abuse, but at least you get to see it.
It goes about even almost. I mean, I'm guessing it was a little slower.
Yeah. Alright, landed a bit early. I'm meant to collect the egg and then enter the portal in the next frame just by being next to it. So small inefficiency. Oops.
Yeah, so what happened there anyways is that like the end of level egg is...
That's terrible.
It's programmed to where if you step anywhere near that guy, he's going to give you the egg. So Jeremy was on a completely different plane, like far away, and wow. Huh.
I did not expect to miss that. Yeah, I'll go for this anyway. Nope. Alright, hopefully I don't miss this again. I actually, when I visited this category in October, I had a similar problem where I was suddenly inexplicably missing this. It's not difficult. I don't even think you need to hold anything, but... Ooh, okay.
Ooh.
I'm fortunate that
yeah,
works.
I remember being that I did this category when that's all we had. I know, I understand we have many more tools to skip and slide and whatnot, but so I remember all the times I did it, there was something I found out where if you just like hug the wall too soon before actually dropping, it'll like mess up the position potentially or something. It's kind of an odd one.
So in this route, we grab a swim in air and then just collect these 2 eggs that normally we get first and second. We get this one second in the normal route, and the one I'm about to get, we get first.
Right, so this is the end of the level right here then, huh?
Yeah, in this route it is.
Wow, okay. And then it's like the first egg of the other one. Wow. Yeah, it still just blows my mind to see some of these level routes. Haven't really kept up to date.
Wow. Oh.
There it is.
One lap is fine.
Yeah.
I actually, like, I got the... He was supposed to do that dodge. I just didn't flame soon enough and turn quickly enough. Okay, so this level, there are squeeze proxies from the scorpions that are pretty useful. I'm gonna... I removed an egg in Sunrise. It was the Sandcastle's egg, and I replaced it with sharks in this shark sub-challenge in this level.
This is a cool proxy where the scorpion puts the tail down and it ends up being a squeeze proxy, right?
Yeah, squeeze proxy between the ground and the tail. In this challenge, all the sharks are cycle-based, and so if I move correctly, then this should be good. If I don't, then it's not going to be. So those are those are the 2 options, I guess. But
Watch out for the shark riders.
that's the main one that's hard to get cycled.
Yes, nice.
Exactly how I wanted to go.
I'm a fan of seeing this sub-level with a route, because of all the times I've gone through it, I've never known.
Yeah, it's really satisfying to do with a round. It's really nice.
It's so awesome.
So I'm going to go for that proxy from the Scorpion again to get through and maybe do some damage boosts. Because there are some enemies that hit through the wall that could give me some height if I'm missing it. I think I will need damage boost. Right? Oh, okay. I can back this up with a spin jump. I should have hovered instead of charged. There's a spin jump I can do right here though.
Right. Yeah, this one is super tricky though.
Oh, come on.
There you go. Sweet. Nice. That ends up being a cool level route with the shark.
Yeah.
Nice hoverless. That's not an easy one.
Hi, Spyro.
I'm debating which. Let's. I think if there's like a life that I can get. There are 2 death abuses left in the run. I think one of them is probably more interesting, but also, no, I'll go for that one. I'll go for the one in Haunted, I think. Although, tanks could be bad. Alright, we'll see what happens. Oops. Not supposed to do that. Missed a jump. Supposed to do a very like extended double jump that I just did too late.
It's a cool sub level though.
Yeah, it's really unique in this game to have like a semi 2D one.
Makes me think more along the lines of like a Crash game, you know?
Yeah.
Whoa, Ned.
Okay, so I'm gonna skip the death abuse in this level, and hopefully I pick up a life somewhere. I'm not sure where I would though. But otherwise tanks might be bad. I might game over, but I really don't want it. Oh.
The rare bonk on that wall. Huh?
Yeah. So I might just get a fodder life here actually. Searching. I mean, hopefully I'll get one. We'll see. There's another fodder down there that I saw.
Yeah, you're gonna get that.
There we go.
Oh, yes. All according to the plan.
Alright, so we're fine now. I'm worried about tanks. I'm going to be using a strat that I like to call not being prepared at all. I'm sort of in between tank strats right now. So I'm like halfway on mine, halfway on nerfs. Oh, and missing very easy skips. I can't hear it.
Oh, right, yeah, an audio.
I'm so used to using the audio cues to when to jump. Okay. So this route is kind of interesting if I get the death abuse. We're not working toward a game over this time, so it's just the individual time save. But hopefully I can at least get the death abuse so I can attempt the route.
Oh, that looked like it.
That's annoying.
Did you think you were about to get it?
I did when I charged down, and then I realized I wasn't going to. That's really frustrating. Unfortunately, I'm missing a lot of the cool strats. I mean, I've gotten a few of them, but a couple of the death abuses I've missed. So,
dude, I feel like you've gotten like most of the cool strats. That's just my perception of it. I felt like in my run, I got like barely anything, but I did get Wizard and the Twilight guy, so I was like, hell yeah.
That's not so bad.
Nothing to square.
I should be fine not to death abuse here. Usually with blue sparks, I'm fine. I'm just kind of, I'm hesitant to go in with green on this challenge, just because you can lose a lot of time if you die at the end. But I mean, hopefully it's fun.
Much more than to win the championship.
We both went the wrong way.
Good recovery.
All right.
What were the strats called again? Not being prepared strats. or
Yeah,
something?
yeah.
That was quite clean. Still.
All right. Being on or on green sparks, I think I'm happy enough to just go for, like, not the stairs, just go for the wall glide instead on this. So I'm just gonna go for the small optimization here, and hopefully I don't take damage in Dino. Otherwise, it'll be the wrong choice.
And is that because the fodder is on your path?
Yeah, there's one fodder that you can get without losing any time going into Sorceress, and you want to go into Sorceress blue or gold. Blue's totally fine. And so I probably should have thrown a flame charge out. Admittedly, I wasn't really sure where that one lizard was going to be that was like slightly to the left of me.
Yeah, yeah.
But I just didn't react quickly enough to get it. I should be fine though. As long as there's one Rhinoc that like I could conceive of hitting me, I should be fine though.
To be honest, for some reason I forgot about this skit. This whole sequence is just really, really awesome. It uses several different mechanics that we have used in the game.
There you go. All right.
Wicked.
It's a little bit late, but plenty high enough.
Yeah.
So yeah, the windows you can bonk there. I'm bonking on all the breakable surfaces.
Yeah.
You can jump off the frame of the window. The long windows are a little bit easier because you can just hold a charge jump. As long as you have the correct angle, it'll work. And then we get into the out of bounds area with the cart, and all the wheels are proxiable. Plus there's an additional proxy from the cart and the wall. It goes a lot higher, but it's a little bit slower. Not slower than what I got, but slower than what you can get. Kind of winging it a little bit here too. I'm gonna cut the corners like I should be cutting them, but I honestly don't know where all the hazards are. This is gonna be a little bit reaction. Alright, we're fine.
It's funny to think. But yeah, I mean, as far as the categories that you've done, I mean, it's weighted almost 99% to 1 when it's like any percent in 100 egg.
Yeah.
It's just funny to think you're self-commentating on sort of your inexperience with the tunnel itself.
Yeah.
Like I'm unfamiliar with the threats, so I'm like, dude, I've done this like 1,000 times.
I need to definitely fine-tune like all the finer details in this category.
Right.
There's still at least a minute to take off it, either whether Nerf or I does it. Needs to happen. So
For sure, the 50 is a guarantee.
yeah, and if I don't do it, this is a
Matter of
call out
time.
to Nerf right now. He needs to.
Snaps. Did you hear that, Nerf? Alright, so yeah, we are at our 100 eggs. All that's left is what used to be one of the most hated bosses in Spyro.
Yeah, and now is the best boss in Spyro to people that know how to play it.
Which is very few.
Yeah, unfortunately. So instead of commentating like all the situation, I'm just going to commentate what I know and kind of why I know it. So right now, oh, okay, let me death abuse here. Green sparks ruins everything. Didn't mean to take that. Okay. So I see these 3 cannons are spawned. This is A, B, and C, and that means C is going to drop. And I know Sorceress is fleeing path when I get on that cannon. I know what it's going to be based on which cannon's dropping. So I want to get 2, hopefully 3 hits from this. Don't want to get on with that. Alright. I'm going to lead her to the left.
And Jeremy pretty much knows everything that Sorceress is going to do. You know,
Snap.
Agent 9's gonna do.
Yeah, Agent 9's going to stop at this tank, and then he'll get that one. This is actually the easiest pattern. I just need to do this kind of quickly, and I'll get a natural UFO skip. So yeah, this should be completely fine. Least complicated of the situations. Oh. Oh. We're fine.
Oh,
So that's UFO skip. Easiest pattern, fortunately, and then you can just get on and finish like this way faster than on the UFO.
yeah, just like Spike, this is broken into 3 different segments where you're supposed to use like 3 different weapons. I didn't even know you could do that. I thought you, wow. Wow.
That's
So that's
time, by
it,
the way.
that's time. 56.
That's a 56. Man, that was a bad run. I'm surprised that was a 56.
I mean, that was solid in a lot of places.
Yeah.
Sunny Villa wasn't the prettiest, but yeah, it's.
Yeah. Well, it's what I was
That's
hoping to get, actually.
56.
I was thinking 55, 56,
Mm-hmm.
somewhere in that range, so happy with it.
Heck yeah.
So yeah, that's 100 egg. Yeah.
Sweet.
Spyro, you've just defeated the Sorcerer.
And I believe
Rescued the dragon eggs and restored
Shentalk is up
freedom to the
next.
lost dragon world.
Actually,
What do you
it's slipping my mind what game it is, but stay tuned anyways. Thank you so much for being here, everybody. Thank you for watching. I hope so far you have enjoyed my 120% run of Spyro the Dragon, and now Jeremy Thompson's 100 egg run of Spyro 3. We'll be back shortly. We're just going to kind of... Oh, did we want to read... Do we have anything? Yeah? Okay. Yeah, so I'm going to hand it on over to Nintendo, I do believe, and yeah, awesome.
Disappeared again, so I should go make sure he's not in more trouble. You haven't seen him, have you?
Alright, so
If I do happen to encounter him, however, I will most certainly inform you immediately.
we got 15 from Codestone, who said, Jeremy, please do the world record proxy, thank you, and which I believe he did, so hooray. And $1 from Cowman, extra $10 donations for everyone who PBs.
Somehow I ended up
Thank you all for your donations.
I'm gonna try to plug you in real fast
by
while we're in
1,000 years. That would explain why the book was so